Welcome to Leominster TV's Cityscope. Today we have what I hope is a very informative show for you, and hopefully we'll get some information out to you that may be new to a lot of our viewers, but we're going to see, as we go along, we're going to get some hopefully very technical in scope as we go along. And that was a little lead-in, a lousy one, because we're going to be talking to some of the faculty and administrators from the Leominster Center for Technical Education Innovation School, which is located up next to the high school on off of Granite Street, in between Granite and Exchange, in that area. Without further ado, let me introduce our guests. First of all, we have right next to me Sandy Cucciara. She's the English Department Chair, Lead Cluster Teacher. Next to her is Mr. David Fiandaca, who is the Principal and Director of CTEi. And then we have Jay Cruz, HVAC and HVAC/R. What does that mean?
Refrigeration. That's heating,
I should have known
air
that.
conditioning, and refrigeration.
Good. I'll have to talk to you later.
All right.
And he's also a lead cluster teacher in construction trade, right?
That's correct,
And
yes.
also we have Dan Bachant. Is that right?
Bayshant.
Bachant.
Good try,
Assistant Director of. Everyone probably makes that mistake,
They
right?
slaughter
All the
it, they
time.
kill it, that's right.
Assistant Director and Co-op Coordinator. Okay, so what are we going to talk about? Well, there's some very extremely exciting things happening up at the CTE, and I'm going to let them kind of take the ball and kind of explain to us all what is going on up there and how some new programs are going to be starting up, hopefully. And so, I don't know, what do you want to take it away and give us some background? First of all, the CTE, for many years, for those viewers that are much older, was known for many years as the trade school, correct? And then it changed over to the Center for Technical Education, and now it's an innovation school. So why don't you explain to us what these changes are about?
Well, it was about 5 years ago that we became an innovation school. We had to write an innovation plan and have it accepted by the school committee, which they approved. And basically, by innovation, we are charged to come up with our own professional development, come up with our own budgeting style, and introduce STEM activities as much as possible, and also try to begin a 501c3 account so that we can establish a fund strictly for CTEi.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about that a little bit as the show goes on.
Okay, okay. So you've talked about quite a few things. And let's break them down a little bit, first of all. Being an innovation school, how does that differ from a normal trade school or whatever?
Well, I skipped one thing, and
Yes.
and evidence of that is the two people sitting
Okay.
on either side of me.
Yep.
And one of the things in the innovation school is the governance. We wanted to have more governance coming from the staff,
Okay.
and we want leadership coming from the staff. So our school was broken into 4 clusters, and each one of those clusters elected a lead cluster teacher, except with the academic staff, they elected 2 lead cluster teachers.
Okay.
And those teachers bring the ideas of the staff to the table, so to speak. And those 5 lead cluster teachers, and Mr. Bayshant and myself, are the ones who meet together to regularly go over the initiatives that we have at CTEi.
Okay. So Sandy, you are a cluster teacher, an academic cluster teacher,
Yes,
correct?
I am. Yes. And being an English teacher, it's, first of all, it's been wonderful being able to work alongside the vocational ed instructors because we collaborate in terms of projects. For example, when my students are reading Shakespeare, and let's say it's Hamlet for the seniors are able to utilize the skills that they're learning in CTEi to create their products. For example, if they're doing posters and the graphic arts students can incorporate those materials. I had one student last year who was actually an Eagle Scout, and he chose to take a T-shirt and take the characters from Hamlet and associate the personalities of those characters with animals and birds. He then took the embroidery system that they used and embroidered all those figures on the shirt, and it's quite impressive. But it's because we work together.
It's
And-
fantastic.
Oh,
I
it's
think that's a
wonderful.
phenomenal idea
It's wonderful.
because these kids are only limited by their imagination.
Exactly.
You know, they can think up something, and they have all the tools right on site, not only the academic tools, but if they want to make a shirt, a poster, a cabinet, you know, who knows what, a robot, they can do it there. They have everything at their fingertips to do it. That's phenomenal. It's a great idea.
And it's a great addition, because even as far as culinary, one student one year, we were doing Julius Caesar, and he made a cake with fondant. And on each level, he did something different with regard to characters and events. So whatever their skills are, and they're so motivated
Oh, absolutely.
because it's hands-on, and they're learning. It incorporates the learning process from all different angles.
Okay, so let me jump to J. J, HVAC, okay? Now, we all know what HVAC is all about, all right? So when Sandy has somebody, a student that's doing a project, say they're doing Hamlet, okay? How the heck can you get HVAC involved in let's test your ability there.
Well, I would say if they're doing props or filming or anything like that, well, we
Right.
bring the air conditioning in, we bring the heating in, we make sure that the climate is just right for them. We want to make them as comfortable as
There you go.
possible.
Okay,
Just like
that's
your
good.
studio here. That's how we'd work that in there. And if they really felt the need to, we'd get them just involved in the shop and tell them what we're all about, and who knows
Okay.
what'll happen from there.
Yeah, yeah. So Dan, you're the assistant director, okay? Now, because of the Innovation School and the changes that you guys are making, well, not really changes, but you're incorporating some new ideas. And this, can you explain a little bit about the idea of the nonprofit? And I understand it's for budgetary reasons, so you can have some discretionary funding at your fingertips to do things. Is that correct? Or?
Yeah, sort of.
Okay.
Basically, the idea behind the whole 501c3 is that it's something that's part of being an innovation school.
Mm-hmm.
We're entitled to have that as a non-profit type organization, which we are.
Mm-hmm.
And we see that as a way of organizing and fundraising and saving money for scholarships for our graduates to help them and further their education down the road. And we also see that as a way to, if every now and then you have a major, the equipment we have in CTE is very expensive.
Right.
Budgets aren't always able to help us in that capacity. If we had a major piece of equipment that we needed to repair or possibly even replace, it's possible we would be able to have that funding help from there in addition to budgets that we have from the city.
That's a great idea, because you don't have to wait for the school committee approval,
Right.
you know, for funding for certain projects. You have this at your fingertips, and you can make the decision as to where it goes. It's phenomenal. It's a great idea, and it must be very exciting to the students too, because they're getting opportunities to do these things that normally they might be stymied a little bit of being able to do. But now, you know, they're going to have this funding in place, you know, to do that. I think it's a fantastic idea. David, as the you know, the principal and director, you must be the guy that says, okay, here's this funding. Okay, what do your department heads need? Right? They come to you, and do you help aim the decisions a certain way in terms of funding, or is it pretty much a team effort? Or
I like to think it's a team effort,
Okay.
yes. That's one of the responsibilities of the lead cluster teachers, is
Okay.
to talk to all the teachers in their departments and come back to the table and say, okay, who needs what?
right,
And and then as a group, we'll decide what the most pressing needs are.
right,
And, you know, we like to talk how we take turns. We have 12 programs, and say the first year, 3 of the programs are able to benefit from improvements in their technology, we'll put those 3 programs aside and we'll look at the other 9 now, and the second year we'll try to pick 3 more. And we sort of rotate that way and take turns and try to keep everybody happy as much as possible.
I hate to put you on the spot, but what are the 12 programs? Are they different projects that are going on, or are they?
Well, when we say 12 programs, we have 12 different trades, if you
Okay,
would,
yep.
that we teach.
Yep.
And in the construction cluster, we have carpentry, electrical, plumbing, and HVAC.
Okay.
And the other cluster, one of the clusters we call transportation and service. And we have auto collision, auto technology, health occupations, and culinary arts.
Nice.
And then we have the engineering part of our cluster. I forget the name right now, right off the top of my head, but the programs in there are graphic arts, engineering and design, that's what it is.
Okay.
So it's graphic arts, machine shop, honors electronics, and drafting.
It's
Yep.
really great
Yeah.
programs.
And then on
Nice.
top of that, we have a Project Lead the Way program, which is even more engineering.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
so,
Those programs are fantastic. They're really good. You know, people think of the CTE and they think of, a group of students are going to go build a house over here or do this or are you finding now that, and a lot of the trades people are complaining about this, there's very few younger people going the route of learning a trade or a skill, a technical skill or
Right.
trade.
right.
Is that one of the goals, is to try to lure more people, more students, toward your facility? Or?
Well, I think one of the things that we try to emphasize is that, like, I'll take the carpentry trade, for example.
Yep.
If you're studying the carpentry trade, it's not so much that you want to carry plywood and build houses for the rest of your life.
Right.
What you want to do is you want to further your education so that you can get roles of leadership,
Right.
become a construction manager, work on bigger projects, and maybe someday own your own company,
Right.
which many of our students end up
Right.
doing. There are plenty of people living in the city of Leominster right now that own their own businesses. They
They
graduated
went through
from.
the program.
Yeah.
Right. That's fantastic. Let's talk a little bit about this 501c3. You have a funding, you have an account set up on GoFundMe.
Yes.
Now, is that to bolster this 501c3? Is that what you're doing this for?
Well, there's a little funny story
Okay.
that goes along with that.
Okay.
And the 2 gentlemen to my right here can tell you that. I'll let them
Okay.
tell you about that.
It's all yours.
You want me to go through the whole story?
Sure, we'll go through
You're
the
on the
whole
spot,
story.
Dan.
So, Mr. Cruz and myself were tasked with getting this off the ground, and Jay had come up with the idea of the GoFundMe account. The whole basis for this thing, you have to have a deposit, a certain amount of money. And in order to come up with that certain amount of money, we needed a way to get this thing off the ground, and Jay suggested a GoFundMe account. So we had to set it up, and Mr. Fiandaca happened to be out that day on other business at a meeting, and we decided we were going to set it up for him. So we went on the GoFundMe account and created the account in his name, and it asked us, would you like to have a Facebook account linked to this? And I personally don't use Facebook much, but we said, yeah, well, I guess so. So we clicked on Facebook for him, and when he came back to school, we started getting emails and things from people on Facebook, and he's like,
It's happening.
anyone know what's going on here? So we brought him up to speed, but the whole idea behind it is to come up with the initial deposit using the GoFundMe account
Okay.
so that we can open the 501c3
Right.
through the North Central Mass, what is it?
Oh,
North Central?
Education Foundation?
No.
No, it's the North Central Mass.
No, we'll find
It's a
it.
tough-
I mean, it'll
we'll
co-
come back to
it'll-
that.
It'll come to us.
It's on
Yeah.
John Fitch Highway, and
Yes.
basically they manage the 501c3
Okay,
for us.
they do that for you.
They do
They do
all
all
the
that.
quarterly
Oh, that's
reports.
nice.
Right.
all that.
Because running a
It's a huge
501c3, you've got to know what you're doing.
Right.
You have to be
Right.
audited every year, and
Right.
it's it's a lot of work. It's good to have somebody behind it.
Community Foundation
Yes,
of
okay.
North Central
There
Massachusetts.
you go.
Very
Okay.
good.
Yeah, I'm
It's a
familiar with
mouthful,
that.
yeah.
I had it
Very
backwards,
good.
Yeah.
that's all right.
Yeah. Jane was just showing a few minutes ago the page for the GoFundMe. So at this point, anyone can get on there and go to GoFundMe and look up, look up under education.
Under education,
Center for Tech, there it is,
CTEi,
right there.
Sure.
Star Fund.
And you can just press the Donate Now button and put any amount you want in there and
And donate it.
help contribute. And I think it's a win-win. And because it's a 501c3, I would assume that they could possibly take that as a tax deduction off their.
I believe that
I
that's.
think
believe
that's what we
that's
were
correct.
told.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So that's great. Hopefully,
Yeah.
so your goal is to get that funded to a certain point, and then
Correct.
you're going to look. Yeah, you're hoping to get some larger donations from. Okay, is that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's what we'd like to do.
All right.
like endowments for scholarships
Sure.
for students and
Right.
things like that.
Right.
And the
That's
beauty
good.
behind that is the fact that as an endowment, we'll say for an example, you can gear it towards any shop. I mean, we'd like it to go to that particular shop, but
Right.
if you, for example, wanted to just endow money to the carpentry shop, you
Yes.
could do that as
Yeah.
well. So
You
any
can do
shop,
that.
or
Okay.
in general fund.
Right.
That person donating can be very specific
Okay.
as to where they think the allocation of that
nice.
fund, like that donation can go.
So if there's a guy that owns a plumbing company out
Sure,
there, and
if he
they
wants to
wanna-
strictly
they would
donate towards
just-
the plumbing, why not? Absolutely
Nice.
right.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. And they
Let's-
can gear it
let's-
towards education as well. You never asked about the STAR, though, what the acronym STAR is, and I'd like to, Mrs. Cucciaro to chime in on that one.
I hope I remember.
Yeah.
This came to me, it was like an epiphany
Yeah.
about 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was success through
Alliances.
alliances and resources.
Wow.
Thank you.
Very good. Very nice.
Yeah.
It came to you. and you
It just
slipped.
came to me, and then as easily, apparently, it left me, but they helped me.
Right.
So
It's
we're
okay.
good. They did.
Well, that's excellent. Now, I also know, because I met with you people last week or whenever it was, that you're going to start a program in January, bringing 8th graders up to the facility. Can you explain
Yes.
a little bit what's going to be happening, what that's all about?
I would just like to say something.
Okay,
before
sure.
we do that. Jay will tell you all about that, and Dan too. But this is a tremendous example of leadership coming from the staff themselves.
Right.
Because when the staff jumped on board with this, they just took it and ran with it. And I'll let them tell you all about it.
Okay.
But they've done a great job, and we're really anxious to get the program off the ground, and I won't say anything else.
Okay, all right.
Sure.
So the history of the program, we used to take all our tools, our projects, our students, our materials, and we had to travel like a band,
Right.
you know, to the middle schools, and they would have a little trailer sitting out in the back of the building. And any students that would be interested in learning more about the Center for Technical Education would come out, and they were scheduled through the middle school and get some hands-on training in about 3 or 4 of the different trades that we have. And it was used as sort of a recruitment effort
Okay.
to help recruit 8th graders to get interested
feeder.
in correct.
Feeder, yeah.
And we had an opportunity this year to take a look at the space that we have at our school
Right.
and say, how can we bring them here? So that we're not lugging all this stuff,
Yeah.
make the whole process more
That's right.
simpler and
Right.
and smoother transition. So that's when we decided to renovate some garage storage space, and Jay, I'm going to let you take it from there.
Okay. Well, prior to all that, we had met with both Samoset and Skyview, so they were very excited about it. They actually came to us looking for some sort of initiative to get some students involved, and we thought it was a tremendous program that we could potentially offer them. We all came together and discussed where it might fit best.
Right.
The garage space was there and available. We thought, well, why not convert it over if we could? Just as a mock almost setup, if you would, of a classroom.
Okay.
We've had, from the experience in the past and some of the programs that were run here in the past, we knew that it had been done before.
Right.
And the beauty behind this was the fact that we could do this here without
Right,
having to commute back and forth with students or whatnot. If we could bring them to us, it'd be that much better.
So what you'll do is, in this room, in this...
Yeah, we've got roughly 1,000 square feet.
Okay,
of
so you'll
space.
have the different instructors from the different departments giving little demos?
Right.
or-
We've actually come up with a curriculum already.
Okay.
We've got 4 different shops as a pilot program, which
Okay.
would be the carpentry, electrical, plumbing, and health hawk.
Okay.
And what they're going to do, we've set up mock stations.
Right.
And I say mock, they're on platforms, they're 4 by 8 roughly, 6 foot high. And the students themselves will get an opportunity to be able to wire in one of the simulations, plumb in another simulator. The other one, of course, would be the carpentry. They'll be building themselves some toolboxes. And then we've got Health Hawk, which will talk about health in itself, first aid, things of that nature. So I think it's going to be a wonderful program. And we've got 16 students starting out in this pilot program. It's going to run at least 8 weeks.
Okay,
And we're pretty much almost ready to start.
very good.
We've got a few final touches, but
Yep.
the stations are set up, the place has been painted, we've got heat and air conditioning in there right now. And this was a joint collaboration effort by
Right.
all of the faculty there, which was great. We were concerned about funding originally, we talked about it, we were hoping for some funding to come out outside of, we unfortunately weren't able to, but through the faculty and the staff, we all got together and we came up with a way we possibly could do it, and through talking about it and just figuring out what we could do, everyone came together. It was perfect. It was great. It was a collaborative effort on everyone's behalf. So I think the faculty, I take my hat off to them because they all jumped on board and they're all diligently working on this project
Right.
together. We've got graphics, we got carpenters, electricians. The HVAC program was in there. I mean, everyone's helping out, which is phenomenal. And
Well,
we're tentatively leaning towards the end of January
Okay, okay.
for an opening date.
And, you know, the timing of this couldn't have been any better, because I had approached David about the possibility of Leominster TV becoming more involved and perhaps getting a media production course happening up there. So we may be able to do something, have set up a little table in your room there.
We've got plenty of
1,000
room for
square
you,
feet.
Carl. You're
Yeah.
more than welcome.
Just down, Bill.
Very much like to have you.
And we'll have some of our staff come up there, maybe not every day, but maybe, you know, we'll have to figure out a schedule, and we'll show them the basics of, you know, how to set up a camera, how to use a tripod, how to compose shots, how to pan, how to, and we'll start gradually, and, you know, we'll start a program going up there.
I would love that. I would love
Fantastic.
that.
And maybe someday, as we go down, we can find some room and put up a small studio, production studio up here.
Yeah.
It would be fantastic to have
Oh,
this.
Carl, I'll tell you what, you're welcome as far as I'm concerned anyway.
Okay,
And we'd love to
okay.
see you set up over there. And I
Yes.
think it would be a benefit
Oh,
to the kids of Samoset, Skyview, even to our kids
Well,
there at
that's-
school.
that's
Just to see
right.
what's
I mean,
going on.
Yeah.
And
get
it'll
more
help us
involved
too,
with-
because then we'll have a feeder for, you know, we're always looking for younger people to volunteer, help us with, you know, covering school sports or covering things that are going on around town. So it's a win-win. You know, I think
Absolutely.
Yeah, it
it's a
is.
great
Absolutely.
thing.
We-
Absolutely.
and we do have a lot of things going on right now. We'd
Right.
love to share with everyone out there
Right.
and
Very good.
keep
Right.
them informed.
Right.
Very good. Well, I think we're getting close to the end, but I just wanted to give you an opportunity if there's anything that we may have missed or not that we haven't spoken about.
What about the store?
Oh,
we've
yes.
got-
Talk about
got a
that,
grand
because
event.
that, I think, is huge, because the kids are always looking to purchase items that have the logo, and there
So you're going
used
to
to
have a
be.
store right there.
Right in the store.
Yeah,
Okay.
right near the cafeteria.
And the public can, after they have lunch, they can go right to the store, right?
It's not open to the public as of yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, we hope to open up December 19th, I believe, is
Okay.
our grand opening date. That's what we're shooting for right
That's a
now.
great idea.
Yeah, and at first, it's going to be open just at lunchtime, and it may remain that way.
Okay.
And then maybe on special occasions, when maybe there's a play.
Something going on.
The store happens to be located right next to the entrance where people would come in to go to the auditorium or the
Okay.
gymnasium.
Yep.
So, you know, we don't know
Right.
exactly what it's going to turn into, but we hope to open up December 19th with a grand opening.
So you'll have all Leominster High School paraphernalia in there, trade,
Correct.
different things,
Yes.
hats, shirts.
That will
you
be
name
done
it.
by Graphic Arts.
Yes,
Yes.
of
I also
course,
want to-
absolutely.
Yeah.
And we have to put a big thank you out to the Digital Credit Union.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
DCU.
Who
that's
donated
right.
all the funding
Nice.
to build the store. They
Right.
gave that to
Very good.
the
Right.
school as a donation.
And in addition to the store itself, the money that was not used for the store, they allowed us to use that money to get inventory to stock the store.
Oh, nice.
So we are greatly indebted to them and the Leominster Education Foundation.
Right, and the whole process of building the store was all done, the drafting, we have a drafting student who is currently at Wentworth Institute.
Right.
He drew up the plans. The carpenters and electricians did all the renovations and built the store. The graphic communications people came up with a detailed sign to put over the entrance to the store. And now Graphic Arts is actually making all of the different things that we're going to sell in there, from hats to sweatshirts to sweaters. I'm sporting this little embroidery thing here on my vest. They do embroidery.
Nice.
It's,
Nice.
The limits
Very
are boundeless, what they can do, the
Nice.
capability, so.
You know, I wish I could get on my time machine next door and go back in time and start all over again.
Don't we all?
Can I still go through the school? Please, let me go through. I want to learn some of these trades.
I also want to acknowledge the fact that this is not just a store. This is all about entrepreneurship.
Right.
This is as well about business and how to plan, what to expect in businesses. So the students that'll be in the store and work in the store are going to have to learn a curriculum that falls into our frameworks as well,
Right.
which involves entrepreneurship and how to run a business and the do's and don'ts and the pros and cons of that business and how to make a business succeed and be competitive. So this program, it's not just, like I said, it's not a store. This is a complete program. It's a completely different business plan we're putting on, spin on this whole thing on. So we're hoping to be able to, that it takes off and that the students get a lot more than just a store. Right. They're going to have to do everything, to run it themselves and whatnot, and learn all aspects of running it.
And it's great
professionally.
because it incorporates the business
Exactly.
piece, because we used to have business courses at the
Right,
high school,
right.
but they have not been there for at least 10
See
or
that?
12
This
years.
is like a win-win-win
Yes.
situation. You know, you can't.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I hate to tell you this, but we're running out of time. But I want to thank you all for coming in and telling
Thank
us
you.
what's going on.
Thank you
Thank
for
you for
having
having
us.
us.
Back in 6 months or whatever, and give us an update as to what's going on, and keep us filled in on different projects that you're doing or different things that you're doing.
Well, thank you for
Well,
having us.
thank you
We
very
appreciate
much.
it.
You're all welcome. And thank you all for watching Cityscope tonight, or whenever you're watching it, because we repeat it many times during the week. So stay tuned to Leominster TV, and have a good day.